All right, welcome back. We're going to look at seventh chords for the first time this semester. Before we do that, let's review the triads we talked about in our last session. The four types of triads. The first being the major. If we're in the key of C, we can build a major triad on the 1, the 3, and the 5. The first note in the scale, the third note in the scale, the fifth note in the scale. From 1 to 3 is a major third. From 3 to 5 is a minor third. Major triad. Minor triad is next. If you build a minor triad on the same root as a major triad, the only difference is the third is moved down a half step. If you start with a major triad, if you lower the third by a half step, you get a minor triad. That interval structure is minor third on the bottom, major third on the top. Then comes the diminished triad. If you were to build the diminished triad on the same root as a major triad, in this case C, you would lower the third and the fifth, which would give you a minor third on bottom, another minor third on top. It also gives you a diminished fifth, or a tritone, from the 1 to the 5, which creates a lot of tension. This chord needs to resolve. It needs to move somewhere. You very seldom hear a diminished chord just be played and then stay there for a long time. Fourth kind of triad is the augmented triad. Here's a major. If I build an augmented triad on the same root, then I will get this. So you raise the 5, take a major triad, raise the 5, and you get an augmented triad. It also has tension. There's an augmented fifth along with the third in the middle. That creates tension. That wants to go somewhere, as in 1 major, 1 augmented, 4, and so on. So there's the 4 major, or the 4 triad types: major, minor, diminished, and augmented. Now, going back to the major triad, we have major third on the bottom, minor third on top. If we add one more third, another note that would be a third above the 5, 1, 3, 5, put another third on top of that, and we get a major 7 chord. So that's a major 7th chord. It has a major triad in the foundation, and then the 7th is the interval of a major 7th above the root. The two notes by themselves sound rather dissonant or discordant, don't really sound all that great together. If you put all the notes together, though, all the notes together have a more rich sound, perhaps more color than the sound of the triad. Here's major 7 and some other keys. You might think of that as something you might hear in jazz or maybe easy listening music. That 7th does add more color to the sound. It makes for a different sound and a different mood than just the major triad. All right, so in the key of C, all the white keys, starting on C and going to C, you get a major 7 chord if you start on the 1, the C, and then go up in thirds. And this chord occurs naturally in the key of C. The major 7 chord happens naturally in the key of C. You might say it occurs diatonically. So what does that mean, that it occurs naturally? In the key, there is no sharps or flats, no black keys, and all the notes in the chord, or on the white keys, they're all notes that are in the scale, in the key. And remember when I said diatonically, diatonic means in the scale, diatonic means in the key. In the study of chords and groups of chords and keys last year in theory, we talked about diatonic chords. We had diatonic triads. So we built a triad on 1. It was a major chord. On the second note, we built a note on 2. It's minor. The note on we built a chord on 3. Built a chord on 3. I think I said a note on 2. A chord on 2 is minor. The chord built on 3 is a minor. The chord built on 4. Think about what that is. Do you remember the chord built on 4? Or just from the sound of it, can you tell what kind of chord it is? It's a major. On 5, there's the G, there's the 5. We built a triad. What is that? Major, minor, diminished? What is that? Yeah, the chord on 5, on the G in this case. It's a major chord. Here's 6. Remember that one. What type of chord is that? Is it major, minor, augmented? It's a minor, in this case an A minor. And on 7, hear that sound? It's different from the sound of the other ones I've played so far. It's diminished. So we had major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and go back to 1. We got major. So those are the diatonic triads. In C, I played all those chords. They all sat on the white keys. They all sat in the notes in the key of C. Well, we can do the same thing with 7th chords. We can make diatonic 7th chords. So here's that major 7 on 1. And there's 2. Remember, it was minor with the triads. All right, now we have minor 7. Now on 3, the triad was minor. This is a minor 7th chord. And here's 4. Remember the triad on 4 is major in a major key. Now you hear that 7th. What type of 7th are you hearing? From F to E. Here's the F, here's the octave, and we're going down just a half step to get the 7th. So yeah, that is a major 7th. So this is the other major 7 chord that occurs naturally or diatonically in the key, in any key. Right now we're in the key of C. So we have major 7 chords on 1 and on 4. I can play it down an octave. And you can just go back and forth with those chords and compose part of, maybe even all of a song, just with those, just with the major 7 on 1 and the major 7 on 4. So we have diatonic chords, diatonic 7ths, major 7ths that are diatonic to the key on 1 and on 4.